What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Sports Live, a special Labor Day edition of MVP Sports Live right here, either on twitch.tv/MVPvids or on MVP Sports. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster. Dave, how you doing?
Bet you didn't know we were recording today, because neither did I.
I mean, I said it on Friday. I said we'll be back on Monday. But then I was thinking on Sunday. I was like, oh shit, what's the etiquette? You know what I'm saying? Like the
It's
YouTube
a holiday
show
for
etiquette.
everything. Like, is it a holiday for us?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I immediately this is what I'm gonna do, Dave. I'm gonna do it on my tablet so I don't accidentally play it. Let's see if Philly D. Ooh, Philly D does his video should have went up already. Or be close to, right?
It should be going up
like,
now.
Should that be the barometer? If someone like Philly D is doing it today, we should do it today. Let's see. Philly D. Oh, he hasn't had one up yet.
See?
Ooh, I don't know. Are we
making me work on a holiday on Labor Day of all days, the day to celebrate?
Yeah, 4 days ago. Here, I'm gonna look at one more. Let's see if Kinda Funny, did they take the day off today? Let's see.
It is a national holiday.
Let's see. I mean, yeah, maybe Dave, maybe we're in the wrong. Maybe we're in the wrong for doing this on Labor Day.
I would have to say so.
But like you said before we were recording, what would I be doing otherwise? I go back
to playing video games, watching League.
Watching Tyler one. Is he playing League right now? Is that what he's playing? Okay. But welcome into a jam-packed show, talking a lot of football today with a little bit of basketball sprinkled in right at the end. Before we do, let's get in on some housekeeping. Number one, join the Discord channel. It's a great time to talk to everyone in the MVP family. Fans, patrons, us, the boys are active in there. Dave, we've got some shots fired, by the way, because Soapy keeps firing shots at both you and me. Very subtle shots, but they're still shots where he'll make comments where when I'll bring up the Discord where he'll be like, yeah, and I'm the most active boy in the Discord.
I mean, he might be boasting more than me.
I see them as little pop shots. He's taking little pop shots
out every once in a while.
But how you do that, this guy just did it in Twitch chat, !Discord, or if you're on YouTube, down below in the description. Also, patreon.com/MVPvids is how you support the channel. Make sure we can keep doing this as we love doing this for you guys. And thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. And last but not least, we're on Twitch. We do it every Monday through Friday. But you can also catch the show on YouTube at MVP Sports, twitch.tv/MVPvids on Twitch. But Dave, let's get into the show. Like I said, we got a lot of football today. It was Labor Day weekend, and Adam Schefter, before the weekend, put all the trades out. Usually there's a lot of trades that go on Labor Day weekend. We're gearing up for the season that starts this Thursday with the Chiefs and the Texans taking action. And we kind of had some big signings, and one of the biggest signings, a domino that finally fell that you and I had talked about earlier before this. Jadeveon Clowney found a home, Dave. He's not going to be in Seattle. He's signing a 1-year, $15 million deal to go to the Tennessee Titans. And the thing I want to kind of hit with this, Dave, is we're going to get into the Saints part. The Saints were a suitor. And apparently the NFL blocked a little bit of a trade we're going to talk about. But right now, he's a Titan. What does this mean for Tennessee? And does this mean they're better than the 10 wins that you and I both gave them?
I gave him 10 wins? Wow.
Yeah, I thought you and I gave them both 10 wins.
Oh,
I'd have to go back and check.
Go back and check that. But no, I mean, it definitely helps them. That was a team that last year clearly, performed at a high level on the defensive end. Tannehill was obviously their biggest guy. Derrick Henry, just the monster, the engine that kept that truck going. But the defense was just incredible. So adding in someone like Jadeveon Clowney, I mean, it's nothing but positives for them. Huge pass rusher, obviously the second most important position in football. So credit to them for being able to get that deal done. 15 mil doesn't seem like a bad deal. After hearing all the reports that he had refused to sign with the Cleveland Browns for 1-year, 2-year, and 3-year deals, he turned down all 3 of them. I think it was an average of like $17 to $18 million a year at those deals. So he was clearly the guy looking for a specific location, whether it was to compete or whether, what the sites were he was aiming for. I think the Titans are a great location for him to land on.
Yeah, and both you and I just looked it up now, gave the Titans 10-6 seasons.
All right.
Coming into our predictions. Funny, I had them like second in the division at 10-6. Dave thinks the AFC South is going to be a bloodbath. He has them third in the division at 10-6. And for me, this is obviously we're going to talk if we're talking winners and losers of this, the Titans aren't a loser, obviously, because you get one of the best pass rushers to help you, and you have two quarterbacks, maybe three if you believe in Minshew mania, but Phillip Rivers and Deshaun Watson for sure, where if the Titans are going to be successful on defense, they need to get after those two quarterbacks. They need to cause problems for both Watson and Rivers. Guys, they're going to see both of them 2 times this year. And for me, if I'm Ryan Tannehill, I'm saying finally, I've got some help on the defensive side because you have a coach in place, Mike Vrabel, who knows defense. He knows it very well. And now he gets a new weapon on that side of the ball to hopefully cause havoc. But on the same side, this could be a big impact for Jadeveon Clowney, or will it though? Because we kind of saw this last year. Hey, if I prove myself in Seattle, maybe I get a big contract. And like you said, he turned down offers with the Browns. This was kind of like, hey, this is my last offer is I gotta go here. It was basically he was not going to hold out.
Well, he's done nothing but turn down offers for the past 3 months.
Mm-hmm. But this
was not a situation where nobody wanted him.
If the Browns,
he didn't want to go to certain teams.
If no one would have offered and the Browns were still there and we were a day from opening day, I think he would have signed. This is something where, yes, there were teams that wanted him. It wasn't like no one wanted him, but it was one of those where if he wanted a long-term deal, he might have had to settle for this 1-year deal. And even if he proves himself this year, next free agency, is this kind of going to be the rest of Jadeveon Clowney's pro career of, I'm not getting the 2-3-year deals. I'm having to settle for these 1-year deals.
No, I think it's entirely situational. It's just, he doesn't want to go and play in certain places in certain situations. If he wanted a long-term deal, he could have signed one. He clearly didn't want to. And everything that's come out of his camp is this is a him decision, not a management rep, anything like that. It is purely Jadeveon Clowney's agent is passing the word to him, and Clowney's the one who's going, nope, not doing it. Cleveland, fuck no. 1 year? Nope. 2 years? Definitely nope. 3 years? Fuck no.
Dave's sitting there why would you want to go to Cleveland? The Joakim Noah.
Yeah, he said it himself. He refused to do it. He had the offers there. He's had looks from Seattle again, but they were lowballing him from everything I heard. Mm-hmm. So I'm not surprised by that. I mean, after someone takes a pay cut to leave Jacksonville, one of the top guys in Yannick Ngakoue takes a pay cut just to get out of Dodge. Now the whole market for pass rushers gets screwed over because he just took $6 million less than he was accounted for. So I think it was just a weird situation with the season. And where money was, people were so unsure. And everybody was like, oh, well, could he go to this contender, that contender? He picked a contender. Mm-hmm. He made it clear what he was doing. I don't think this is a thing that he's going to have to do year to year and prove himself. No, I don't believe that.
Well, one of the teams that's obviously not happy about this is the New Orleans Saints. Yeah. Sean Payton, this is from ESPN. Mike Triplett has the article. He says, Coach Sean Payton confirmed Monday that the Saints explored the idea of a unique sign-and-trade deal with an unspecified team to help team fit Clowney's salary under the cap. However, the NFL said such a deal would not be allowed. The idea for another team to sign Clowney and pay his signing bonus, then immediately trade Clowney and the remaining salary to the Saints in exchange for a draft pick, the other team essentially would have been buying a draft pick, which the NFL has never allowed. We felt like we got close, Payton said. We weren't able to match the money, and that's one of the challenges each year when you're going after a player. What type of player do you have? General Manager Mickey Loomis and Vice President of Football Administration Kai Hardley, and those guys did a great job of really spending time with his representation. In the meantime, we had a good visit when we went out to see him. Dave, the question is, and I don't exactly know where I fall on this because I can see both sides. In your mind, was it right for the NFL to step in and say no? Because it is essentially, let's say it was Tennessee, it's essentially Tennessee then, hey, we're going to pay Clowney and we're buying a draft pick from the Saints. Was it right the NFL did this? Not right they did it.
I mean, it's entirely up to whatever precedents they had up to this point. I don't know. I love the idea of signing trades. I think it would have been a cool move to do. And I think at the end of the day, if you're thinking out of the box as far as the NFL contract situations are concerned, you're doing the right thing. That's if you're not trying to cheat, you're not trying. That's where it lands on, like, the whole Bill Belichick and contract situations. The signing bonus of $15 million for, an $8 million contract kind of bullshit that they've pulled. Like, you have to understand that contracts are malleable. You can mold them to be whatever you want them to be. You can have whatever guarantees you want them to be. So if it's a situation where they just want to be like, hey, you sign him, we trade you a second round draft pick, we trade you a 2 and a 5 or a 3, whatever it is. Like, I would have been totally cool with that. That would have been absolutely fine. But again, it's the NFL, and whatever precedents they want to set for the no fun league, that's up to them.
The no fun league. Because, like, there's a thought of me that goes, oh man, this sucks. Because if a team does have the draft capital, like, it's the thing of, if the Saints don't need their draft pick, let's say it was, I'm not even thinking it would have been a first. I'm thinking at most it would have been like a second round pick. I know that like second and third round picks carry more weight in the NFL than like a second round pick in the NBA draft. But like, if it's a second or a third, I partly think, like, if the Saints don't need it, why can't another team buy a draft pick where it's basically spending money on the salary bonus? Like, it just depends on what team it is, and especially if my team's at the bottom. Maybe the NFL's trying to avoid like a Sam Hinkie 76ers type of thing going on, where it's like, we're just gonna acquire draft picks because they say unspecified team.
Yep.
I think it's the Browns. I think the Browns were that unspecified team because
don't they have the most money?
They've got the most money. Plus, it's also the guy who's in charge of their football operations is D. Podesta, who basically was Moneyball in the MLB. So basically, it's he's trying to do the same thing in football, and I could see the Browns doing that. Hey, we'll spend the money, we'll pay the signing bonus, and then we'll get a draft pick from you. There's a part of me that's like on the same side of, though, do you have the team like have a rule in place where it's like, in a trade like this, there has to be another player involved. It can't just be even if the math works, it can't just be Clowney for draft picks. It would have to be Clowney for player and draft picks.
Your 55th guy on the roster kind of move. That's what I would, okay, we're not doing it just for draft picks.
Yeah.
Here's a special teamer guy who might be cut, 8 seconds after the deal is done. Now are you happy, NFL?
Yeah.
Can we move along? Like, everybody wins. Stop ruining our fun.
It's also the difference between the NBA, where we see the sign and trade, and the NFL.
Draft picks.
Well,
$3.3 million cash considerations, bitches.
Yeah, but like, the thing I feel like why the NBA doesn't need to worry about that is because of the Stepien rule, where it's like, they don't mind the sign and trade to get draft picks because they already have a rule in place that you can't mortgage your future for somebody. You have to have yes, there's workaways around it, but it's not something where I can take my next 15 years, trade them for LeBron James, and then I don't care if I'm fucked for the next decade. I've got LeBron James right now.
Right, you can only say, I'll give you my first round pick for year 1, year 3, year 5, and then I'll do pick swaps with you year 2 and year 3. Like, okay. Basically the same thing, but it's still just, I don't think the NFL is up to current times with what needs to happen as far as contract.
Yeah, I mean, and this guy saying this guy that can't mortgage your future. LA signing AD says hi. Where they mortgaged their future though because they gave up players who paid off for New Orleans. They gave up players in the but like the thing that mortgaged their future is Lonzo. Like they gave up picks in the form of players. Like Lonzo played better in New Orleans than he did LA. BI played phenomenally this year. Most improved player for this year. It's like the guys they sent over played well. And Josh Hart, right? Josh Hart. Yeah, played
they
well
also
for
gave
New
up
Orleans.
Multiple first-round picks on top of that too.
Yeah, so. But I'm saying it's more of a mortgaging the future because they gave up players on top of those picks that played well. But another signing, Dave, we're going to move right into is one we kind of discussed on Friday, and over the weekend he found himself a new home. Adrian Peterson, we talked about where he could go. I would have loved a reunion with the Vikings. I think you threw out, I know we discussed Dallas, but I don't know if you said Dallas was the place where he should go, but he found a home. He is going to be in the NFC North. I was technically right, but I was wrong on the home.
Right?
I knew
I was technically right because I hit the dart in the right region of the map. I said he played North America.
I was in the area.
He was going to play in the NFL. I was technically right.
But he finds a home with the Detroit Lions. And, of course, I know why the Lions made this move because Kerryon Johnson's going to be their lead back, but Kerryon Johnson has been injured. Dave, how much of an impact do you think AP is going to have with this Lions team? And kind of also, like, we can even pull fantasy. Like, should people pick up AP because Kerryon Johnson might get injured again?
I don't know if I would jump for AP right now. It depends how deep your league is. I mean, if you're in a 14-team league, AP might be a good pickup because I would expect him to kind of scavenge some touchdowns out of this situation. But like this Lions team, I'm totally just expecting them to still be Matt Stafford's team. They are going to throw the damn ball everywhere out there. And there might be some goal line situations around first down. They might try to throw it. And then on second down, they might try to throw it. And on third down, if they don't get it in the end zone yet, they might actually run the ball. So there's a chance that AP will get some touches. It's a good veteran, though. Like, as far as like having a mentor in the locker room, everything I've heard about him from his time in Washington had been that he was a great ad. I think I had said I hoped he would go back to the Saints.
That's what you said.
I thought it would be fun, bring him back to the Saints. Obviously, the Kamara situation. If they move on from him and Latavius Murray could have been an interesting duo. But no, I think that Peterson is not done with the NFL because he is a freak of nature. Not everybody his age should be playing, especially not running backs. I think it's pretty much just down to him and Frank Gore. And Frank Gore will never retire as far as I'm concerned. He will just keep getting 1,000-yard seasons. It's what he was made to do. Adrian Pearson, on the other hand, just sprinkles of Adrian Pearson to bruise up that defense and then let Kerryon Johnson dice them up.
Yeah, with me and the article from ESPN written by Michael Rothstein puts it perfectly. He's got a little snippet that says, now Peterson enters a room where every back is under 23 or younger. None have more than 2 years of experience entering this season. So at worst for the Lions, this ends up being another short of mentorship for Kerryon Johnson and DeAndre Swift, who they drafted from Georgia this year. The two backs Detroit expects to use the most this season. And that's why I know this plays a little bit into fantasy too, because of like how much use is AP going to get. He's on one of my 3 teams that I have for fantasy this year. And I kind of don't know. Like, I feel like the only way he's going to get playtime is if DeAndre Swift struggles, because I don't think Kerryon Johnson is going to struggle. Either Swift struggles, so it's more of like, hey, you're going to be third on the depth chart, AP second, learn from AP, kind of get your rhythm. You're the future here, not AP. But then also there's the second situation of, let's say, Swift is nailing it, Kerryon's nailing it. Oh, wait, Kerryon gets re-injured because that is a worry with running backs who have an injury history. They now have AP who can step up into that role.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a chance, Dave, that Kerryon doesn't get injured. Swift does hit it. And like at that point, I feel like for the Lions, it's not bad. They get a mentor in the room. But kind of with me thinking more fantasy wise, I'm with you where I'm not jumping all over Adrian Peterson because I don't know. It's more of one of those things of, hey, I'm either going to snatch him up and then wait and see, and hopefully something doesn't work out and he gets play time. But like right now, unless Kerryon gets injured or Swift doesn't perform, AP is going to be the third back in that room.
Yeah, no, mentor's a great role. Couple touches. I don't think he hits over. If he got 100 touches this season, that would be surprised. And I think he's probably going to be somewhere in that 75 range.
Okay.
You know, he's a little bit of action here and there, but he's not a bell cow anymore. That's not his job. But the cool thing was at the end with Washington, like you did see him get like 20, 25 touches a game towards the end. I was like, man, that guy can still go. Like he just goes and goes and goes. And then he gets that one breakaway run where it's just like it all pays off.
Does he finish the season a Lion?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Who's going to sign? Like, he has no value on the trade market. So
no, I'm not even saying trade market, but like
they're going to cut him.
I don't know. What if Kerryon and Swift are healthy most of the year, and then basically they have? I'm thinking maybe they have injuries somewhere else. It's like, is there a situation that if he falls into that mentor situation, how much weight does that have throughout the season if the Lions are like faced with injuries?
You need to carry 3 running backs. You cannot not carry 3 running backs.
I mean, they've got still on the roster, they've got, what's his name? I think it's like Ty Johnson or something, who's been there like third back. Ty Johnson's, I think, his name. I'm going to pull up our lads really quick because I had it up. Let's see. Lions depth chart. Lions fans are screaming at me. Yeah, Ty Johnson. Who they've had the last, 2 years? He has been a pro for, 2 years. So he's been with the Lions. He's out of Maryland. Like, yet again, not raving reviews, but
really not getting it done.
Yeah, I mean,
they've gotten 2 more running backs in the last 2 years.
It's a third running back. Like, how much are you going to expect out of a third running back?
There are other guys I would cut before Adrian Peterson.
Good point. Next thing we'll move on to, this one's a bit of fun news, Dave, because this is a quarterback that you have talked about a lot. Should have been for another team, should have another shade of blue on, but we're not going to talk about that. Deshaun Watson over the weekend has signed a 4-year, $160 million extension. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported Saturday that the Houston Texans and Watson agreed to terms on a 4-year contract extension worth $160 per sources informed of the deal. Watson gets a massive $111 million in guarantee. The team later confirmed in the extension. With 2 years left on his rookie deal, now the pact keeps the starting QB in Houston through 2025. And Dave, my first thought with this was not what does this do for Watson and the Texans? Because obviously it's good for the Texans because they now keep him in Houston until 2025. The first thing I thought of is, what does this do for a certain quarterback who's in the same state as Deshaun Watson? He's in the state of Texas, and right now has a contract year because his own owner didn't want to pay him. What kind of a situation? To me, if I'm Jerry Jones right now, I'm doing this. Like, I've got my hands on my head. Like, this could not have come at a worse time, because to me, now this contract extension gives Dak Prescott a little bit of more ammo, where he looks and goes, look at that guy get into the playoffs. He's even had more injuries than me, and he can get $160 million. Like, what the fuck's up, Jerry?
Unfortunately, when he points at that guy, it's like, well, that guy can do a whole lot more than you can. Yeah, that's all Jerry has to do.
Really?
Did you see that?
Really? They've done about the same win-wise?
Yeah, because wins tell the whole story. That's what I hear is the win-loss column. You don't even need to watch quarterbacks. You just win-loss column. That's who's the better quarterback is win-loss column. You're right, Ricky.
No, I'm not saying who's the better quarterback.
Why judge him on anything else? If you think that Dak Prescott is anywhere as close to as talented as Deshaun Watson is, you're insane. You're certifiably insane. Watson can do everything out there on the field. He's mobile in the pocket. He can get out. He can create space. He can create time. He can throw it on the move. He is an incredible eye down the field. He has a great arm. Like the plays he made in the playoffs where he tried to single-handedly carry a team for an entire quarter, it looked like. Like he was doing some insane level shit. He absolutely deserves a contract. And yeah, no, I think that Dak isn't just in a position where it's like, look, Jerry Jones sees you as a mid-level quarterback. That's what you are.
A B-plus player.
I wouldn't even say that. Mid-level.
Okay. So even lower than that. Because I just look at it, let's see. Just doing a little bit of research here on the show for the two. Because the battle for me isn't talent-wise, because you're right. The things Watson does, he's a very talented quarterback. Dak Prescott is below his talent level, but can still win games. And I think to somebody who owns a football team, that should be the bottom line. Am I winning games? How many games can this quarterback lead my team to a Super Bowl? That's the ultimate goal. I don't care if you're
leading them to a Super Bowl. He's playing alongside one of the most dynamic weapons in the backfield. He's got a stacked offensive line. He's got offensive weapons now loaded at wide receiver. Like his defense has been insane the last couple years. Like he basically got the Sam Darnold treatment, except they've continued it on further in his career.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let me strike that back. He got the Mark Sanchez treatment.
Okay.
He walked into a roster that was stacked.
But he's better. But he's better than Mark Sanchez, right?
He couldn't have had a better offensive line for the first 5 years of his career. Yeah, it's just not possible. Offensive weapons around him, the defense around him, like he is so fortunate to have landed where he did. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback, but he is not a great quarterback. He's not someone who's going to take over when it counts and lead you to a championship. In my mind, he's someone who is going to play within the confines of the game and be able to play well. And if everything else goes right, then you'll win a game. He will not lose you games, but I don't know how many playoff games he will win you, if you catch where I'm going.
Yeah. Because, yet again, looking at the wins and losses, though, and team does play a lot. Dak Prescott, you make some good points. He's got one of the best backs in the league with Ezekiel Elliott behind him. He had one of the best lines in football, which if we look back at this Cowboys team and it all falls apart, the Dak-Zeke connection and everything, we will look back to why didn't you capitalize when you had that offensive line? You've got Zeke behind you. He's got Amari Cooper also on the outside that we have not mentioned, who, when he's come to Dallas, has been phenomenal for the Cowboys. And what, Gallup too? Gallup's been a good player for him.
They just drafted one in the first round.
That's right. They got CeeDee Lamb this year. So their wide receiver core is a good receiving core with Cooper at the top performing at a top level.
Right. Deshaun Watson, on the other hand, has been stuck with
injury-ridden Will Fuller. He had DeAndre Hopkins. We'll see what he does without DeAndre Hopkins this year. I will say Dak Prescott, he was aging, but he did have Jason Witten for a little bit. Whereas who was the tight end of the Texans? The thing I do bring up though is the wins and losses thing, and not wins and losses number wise of these teams, how far they have gotten, because I think that plays into a contract signing where Houston since 2017. Watson came in 2017. Dak Prescott was the year before him. Watson that first year was 4-12, but that was a Texan team that was still bad. In 2018, his second year, 11-5 season, led him to the wild card where they lost to the Colts 21-7. And then last year, a 10-6 season, they beat the Bills in overtime for the wild card game. They lost to the Chiefs 51-31, but that was a game where, if I'm not mistaken, they had the Chiefs' number. Then halftime happened, and Patty Mahomes was like, oh, wait, I'm Pat Mahomes, and I'm just going to light it up in this second half.
But even in that second half, you still saw out of Watson trying to will them through that game.
Yeah. Where, like you said, Dak Prescott came into a better team, so that's why his rookie year, he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. They were 13-3. When they got to the playoffs, lost to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers by 3 points. But you're looking at, you're going, he's a rookie. They'll learn from this. The next year, 9-7. Then the third year, 10-6. They beat the Seahawks by 2 in the wild card. They lose to the Rams 30-22, who would eventually go on to the Super Bowl that year. And then last year, 8-8. So, like, I can see where Deshaun Watson has had more overall success. But, like, I look at it, and this is the thing I think this sets up is, like I said, the Texans, you're golden. You've got him locked up for the next 5 years. But now I think this adds more pressure onto the Dak Prescott contract extension, because up until right now, it's been this. It's been the two forces, Jerry and Dak, butting heads. Is this going to make Jerry want to give him more money? The more money that Dak feels like he earns, or is this going to create, this contract is going to create more of a wedge to where it's pretty sure we might see Dak Prescott hit the open market after this season?
I mean, it sounds like there's no contract getting done before the season for Dak Prescott, so I'm going to assume they're going to head into the offseason with Dak open market to everyone. Depending on how they finish, that's where he'll end up contract-wise. I think 100%. If this team finishes as a playoff team and he is taking them there and doing everything necessary for a top-tier quarterback, then yeah, he'll earn a lot of money. But if he regresses statistically from what he did last year, which was very impressive, then we're going to see it, because all people are going to point at is like, your team got better. You got a new offensive coordinator, and what are you doing? Like, Mike McCarthy's the new OC.
Yeah.
I mean,
which is another thing. They should have made the Jason Garrett move years ago.
Well, yeah,
I feel like they waited too long.
That's a head scratcher. I will not disagree with that. But yeah, no, it's just, there's every reason to believe, like, there's every reason for Dak Prescott to get better this year. If he doesn't, that's what will hold him back. Only Dak Prescott can hold him back from a bigger contract.
Yeah.
Like, if he gets injured, he's fucked 100%. But if he plays up to, what he did last year and they have any success in the playoffs, then he's going to be right up there with Deshaun Watson as far as contracts are concerned.
Let's move on to another quarterback situation. We finally have an answer, Dave, so we can finally give a for sure answer on this situation.
Not 100%
It was announced today. This is Jeff Dickerson at ESPN. Mitch Trubisky was officially named the Bears starting quarterback by Coach Matt Nagy on Sunday. Nagy stressed that Trubisky's won the job over Nick Foles, and it was not handed to him, adding that it was his call to make. This was going to be a fair battle for both sides of these guys, Nagy said on a Zoom call with Chicago media. Both these guys were really battling their tails off every single day. In the end, Mitch won the job, and I think that's very important for him, for us, for everybody, to understand that we worked really hard to get to this point. And Dave, you're the Bears fan. Before I let you speak, though, I've got a little bit to say about this. Number one, I don't believe Matt Nagy at all. I don't believe him at all. When he says the job was not handed to Mitch, it was handed to Mitch. It was handed on a silver platter. It was, we can't turn you down because if we do, we admit you're a failure. Number two, what I find funny, I know this to be true because it is Chicago fans. It's how Chicago fans are. All over Twitter, how I saw a video of like, woo, Mitch is our guy. Let's go get it, Mitch. Mitch, you're our guy. We're going to do great things. Woo, let's go, Mitch. And it's like, how many more weeks until that same person posting that video is then posting, hey, Mitch, go fuck off. You suck, blah, blah, blah.
Eat shit and die, Mitch.
Eat shit and die. Like, it's going to happen maybe week two. Fuck it. Week one, it'll happen with how
if he throws
Chicago
a pick six, you'll get that message. Not from me, but from someone in Chicago.
You being the Bears fan, though, what are your thoughts on this? They carry more weight than mine.
You're not wrong. This move was seen a long way away. We knew it was coming. There's no Bears fan is surprised by this information coming out that Mitch is our starting quarterback because, of course, he has to be. If Mitch isn't, then we failed. We've done a wrong, and we can't admit we did wrong because we like our job.
We've done a wrong.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do our best to stage the first series and the second series and the third series of the game. We're going to practice and stage as many sets of plays as possible so Mitch feels as prepared as possible. Mm-hmm. The less that boy thinks, the better he is. When he knows the plays, he is good. The problem is when he takes a second to think, his feet get happy, he doesn't plant, he doesn't read the defense, he doesn't progress through his reads correctly, and you see errant throws, you see bad decisions, and you see him losing track of where the pocket is. And that is exactly what we've come to know Mitch Trubisky for. And I am not expecting to see him be our starting quarterback by the end of this season unless Nick Foles is on a cart somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, the good thing about this, and this is the only good, is the first 2 games of your schedule should be winnable for Mitch. Like, winnable. Where last year you started off against the Packers, and it was a hard-fought game, and you guys almost won it before the Packers won the game. And unless I'm thinking of the game 2 years ago.
I'm just in my head. I'm going
because that was the Sunday Night Football one, right? To start the year on Sunday night, if my memory serves me correct.
I can't. The start of last season.
Yeah, because that was the one everyone was excited for. Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack's going to cause problems, and like Khalil Mack didn't play well in the first half, where all of Chicago panicked, and then he played well in the second half, but the Bears still lost.
I thought that was the one where he popped off in the first half and was non-existent because he had no conditioning in the second half.
Either he played well in one half, didn't play well in the other half.
We were mentioning Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack had no conditioning, so he played for one half of football and was the best thing. Like half a game of football, and he was single-handedly beating the Packers. Like the defense had scored over the Packers at that point, and we were winning the game. And it was just like, well, that trade was worth it, and that was it. And then it was like, well, he's got to get in game shape still. We have to acknowledge that that's a thing. Yeah. Because he was completely gassed. And Aaron Rodgers does Aaron Rodgers things when he sees defenses breathing heavily. He's like, oh, we're running the hurry up? I think we are. I think we're going to move the ball.
He looked over at Matt LaFleur and went, hurry up. And LaFleur went, and he's like, I'm going to do the hurry up.
when you see a D lineman put their hands up like it's gassing, like, oh, it's over. It's over.
It's like in basketball. I find it funny. Every time you see at the foul line, like guys with their hands on their knees or guys with their hands on their waist, it's like if you've got a LeBron or like a Harden or someone, you're just like, go after them, big boy. They gas. They tired. And Sam makes a good point. He was going to say what I was going to say. Lions, Giants, Falcons, and Colts are the first month of opponents. And those first 2 aren't bad. Lions and Giants should be easy wins. Should be winnable. The Falcons, though, and like the Falcons I throw up as a question mark because we got to see what the Falcons look like. If the Falcons look good in 2 weeks, that might be a non-winnable game. If the Falcons are a dud.
Defense, they have a great offense. Our offense has talent. Their defense has talent. So honestly, it's a toss-up to me.
Yeah, it's a toss-up. But like after that, the Colts are going to be tough. The Bucs are going to be tough. Carolina's easy. The Rams, what Rams team are we going to see this year? Could be a tough one. Saints will be tough. Titans will be tough. Vikings usually own us, but hopefully that changes this year to where...
I mean, we own the Vikings.
I wonder...
You're talking as a Vikings fan. The Bears own you.
Yeah, the Bears own us. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I meant to say.
You said they own us, and I was just to clarify.
Yeah, the Bears own us. Yeah, as a Vikings fan. Yep. For those who might not know, I am a Vikings fan.
Yep.
But to me, it's like I don't expect Mitch to get to that Minnesota game. I'll be completely honest. I'll be honest. I have it like how my Nostradamus Ricky, if I'm planning this out, Bears go 2-0. Atlanta's a toss-up, but I'm going to say it's a loss. Mitch makes mistakes, which makes Bears fans even angrier because your defense is so good and you probably should have won that game. Then you lose against the Colts. You lose against Tampa on a shortened week. And then at that point, you either make the change going into week 6. You say, fuck it. We got to give Nick Foles an easy like startup game before we go into the Rams. Or you get shocked by the Panthers, which I wouldn't say happens. But could you imagine if you got shocked by the Panthers and then it's like, fuck it, Foles is in Monday night against the Rams week 7?
I mean, all of those things are possible. I'm put that way. All of that is possible. Our front office is not exactly known for the great decision making in the first place. So if we keep Mitch in too long, wouldn't be surprised. If we pull Mitch after one game, wouldn't be surprised. Like, it's going to be a wild season as a Bears fan, and it will be something that you will have to keep a close pulse on, because it can change at a moment's notice. Mitch throws a pick 6 in a game. That could mean Foles comes in, but that doesn't mean Mitch is done for the season necessarily. Like, we're going to see a lot of this back and forth, I think. I don't think there's going to be like a clean cut almost. I feel like it's going to happen mid-game. Poor performance, maybe 2 picks in a game. Offense isn't moving by halftime. Bring in the lefty. I don't know. It's just I feel like we're up for an unpredictable season, but the Bears are going to win because Nick Foles, once he does get to play, is going to be very good.
Does Mitch get re-signed at the end of the year? Or is he a free agent and goes somewhere else? Because
free agent. Someone will have to pay him $8. Like
$8.
His contract worth is not anywhere close. So I mean, he might be like a $3 million backup quarterback somewhere who's like, we'll kick the tires on him. Like, here's the question: what team has interest in Mitch Trubisky after a failure of this season? Maybe the Texans maybe we just need somebody who can stay healthy behind Deshaun Watson.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's in no rush to play.
Could you imagine if the fucking 2 quarterbacks in Houston were Deshaun Watson and Mitch Trubisky, and then he starts to play well? Chicago would just implode.
Right? That's you hadn't got where
Chicago would just implode, Dave.
Yeah, it'd be a good time. A good time by all.
I almost used the barometer line of, as a free agent, would Mitch be worth more than Josh Rosen? Because Josh Rosen, practice squatter. Is Mitch in that same category where, hey, we don't have a spot for you, but there's a spot on the practice squad if you want it?
No, Mitch has proven more in his time in the NFL. He has looked very good at times. And again, he was a top pick. And I think coming out of college, I understand the hype around why he got taken 2 overall. Rosen was somebody who we'd seen more tape on. He looked more reliable, but we haven't seen anything on the NFL field itself. So I think Mitch is a backup quarterback. Rosen practice squad makes sense to me. I don't even think Mitch or Jameis Winston. I think that's the question mark in my. I think his value is maybe just a tinge lower than Jameis. Because Jameis has all the arm talent in the world. He just needs to slow down and let the game come to him a little bit more. Understand the defense, understand what's going on around him, but that boy can fling it.
Not try to be like Brett Favre, where Winston has that Brett Favre in him, where it's like, that's a pinhole size, that's a pin needle size hole. Fucking, I got it. Fucking, I got it.
But no, Mitch has the talent. Mitch can run. Mitch can throw. He just, again, needs a whole lot more time.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but I think he'll be a backup. I think he'll stick in the league for a couple of years.
Another quarterback officially named the starter, Dave. We knew this was kind of coming. It's just kind of a bummer because I would have loved Tua Tagovailoa starting week 1. But this is from NFL.com, Kevin Petra. He says, the Miami Dolphins made the presumed official. Dolphins coach Brian Flores officially announced that Ryan Fitzpatrick will be the Week 1 starter against the New England Patriots. The decision to start the season with Fitzmagic under center has been anticipated for months. The Dolphins will allow first-round pick Tua Tagovailoa time to learn from the sidelines before getting his feet wet. Fitzpatrick's play last year and knowledge of the new offensive coordinator Chan Gailey's system made it the logical move over a rookie coming off a major injury who didn't have a full preseason of prep. Dave, the question I want to ask here is kind of the same thing with Mitch, but it's a different mindset of, is Tua going to go the whole year without playing? Because the more I think about it, the more I wonder, do the Dolphins just say, hey, take the whole year to learn the playbook. That injury, I know you're fresh off it, but we want to give you some more time to be off of it. does he go the full year by coach like decision, or does Fitzpatrick get replaced at some point and we see Tua playing?
No, I think the expectation is that Tua will see a little play. Maybe assuming the season gets late in the season, we don't even know, COVID, all the shenanigans.
Anything can happen.
If we hit week 14 and the Dolphins are not fighting for anything, then we could see Tua get some starts in. But I think the expectation I had with this Dolphins team was that he was going to get early play, and I think the lack of preseason really hurt him because I think he would have gotten a couple looks out there, and if he had a modicum of success, that would have been it. He would have been in right then and there. But because we didn't get to see any of his play yet, we are stuck on just everything we hear is he looks good, he looks healthy, he's in great shape. So there's no reason for the Dolphins to rush it back. But I did have the Dolphins as a very good team in the NFL this year. So it's a little disappointing to hear that they're holding back Tua perhaps on the count of what is too much rest, coming off of an injury as large as that was. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if the Beard's out there for like 10 weeks.
I'm at the same spot of I don't think this was a decision because of the injury, because if it was, he wouldn't have been practicing. If he's out there practicing with the team, you're good enough to be in a football game in my mind.
I agree.
Unless it's limited participant, but he was never described as a limited participant. I'm at the same point of view, 10 weeks until the bye week is pretty much a good barometer, because to me, it comes down to where are you going to be after 10 games? Fitzpatrick and this Dolphins team, I believe, started 0-5 last year. It was not a good year, obviously. They got a high pick.
Goes.
The Beard has good games, but then the Beard has bad games. I know because I had him in fantasy.
But he can win any game. That's what makes him special. Ryan Fitzpatrick is
0-8. No, I'm sorry. 0-7. I undersold them. 0-7 to start last year with the Beard.
But that wasn't all Fitzpatrick, if I remember right.
Okay, you're right. Rosen played 3 of those. It was Fitzpatrick they lost, then Rosen, they lost 3.
Rosen.
And then fucking Fitzpatrick came back after the bye. They lost 3 more before getting their first win week 9 to the Jets.
Yeah. And Fitzpatrick played pretty well for the remainder of the season. So again, I love that guy's will to win. He just has the right attitude. He puts out on the field. He will throw it. Nothing but love for the Beard, but I just want to see Tua play. Can we just move over?
I want to see him play week 13. If that's the only game he plays this year, I want to see Joe Burrows versus Tua. I want to see it, Dave. Give me the rookie on rookie matchup.
That's the only game he plays, which means he will get injured in week 13 also.
No. I don't mean it like that. I just want to see the Burrows Tua matchup because everything that I read out of Cincy is that Joe Burrows is lighting it up, and I can't wait for him to potentially be rookie of the year. Because if he plays well enough, and if AJ Green stays healthy, he'll have a prime target to throw to. And I think that's all of our football news. Let's see the rundown sheet.
I mean, what?
We've had, one more. We kind of mentioned it, but we won't do
a solid hour of football.
Just Rosen. Rosen's a practice squatter. The Bucs signed him. I don't expect much to happen from it. I don't think he actually makes the team. He's just
my
a practice
question
squatter.
Is, where was he in 2017? Because that's when the rest of this team was in their prime. So, wait, what year was he drafted? 2017. That was his best year.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's see. I think 2017 was his junior year.
He played 1 year on the Dolphins, 1 year on the Cardinals, and before that he wasn't drafted, right? So 3 years ago would have been his final year of college.
Yeah, I don't think that was his best year, though. I'm going to look it up. I'm looking it up.
No, that is prime Josh Rosen.
I thought his junior year was better. 2017, it was his junior year. You're right, was his best year.
Yeah.
So he had his best year in 2017.
The Bucs are the prime 2017 team in the NFL.
In 2017, Josh Rosen threw for 37-56, had 26 touchdowns, 10 INTs, and had a completion percentage of 62.6.
Not bad.
He had a rating of 147, so maybe this is exactly what they're doing. They're trying to get that prime
2017
prime
team.
2017 team. But Dave, before we go into basketball, let's do a segment we love to do here on MVP Sports Live. These are our dampest of dudes, the soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, and sometimes, Dave, the mistiest of misses. These are our wet boys, and if you don't know what wet boys is, it's like our players of the game. These are the ones that, for this one, since it's a Monday, popped off the weekend before. We want to give love to them, and very occasionally we give a dry dude. That's someone we don't want to give love to, but we've never had a dry dude. Or we haven't had one for today. I'll spoil that. They're all wet boys for today. How I do it is Dave gives his, I give mine, and then the patrons at patreon.com/MVP vids give theirs. And you can be in on that too, silver tier or above, patreon.com/MVP vids. But Dave, let's kick it off with you. Who's your wet boy for this beautiful Labor Day, September 7th, 2020?
So I'm taking a little different route. You know, we all have been watching the NBA playoffs this weekend, and I know they've been great, and they are nail biters, and lots going down there. But
I'm laughing.
But do you know what else happened this weekend? Well, League of Legends happened this weekend. Not only the LCS, the LEC happened. LCK had some games. Like, we got games everywhere going on. Today, I'm actually going to give my wet boy to Spica from TSM. Played in 2 best of 5s this weekend. Had a phenomenal performance. I know Bjergsen would have been the easy one. He did technically win the MVP of the series. They won the LCS championship from. But Spica, honestly, Dragon steals, Baron steals. He was what kept them in every game. He was the guy who changed the pace. He's the rookie of the... I think he wasn't the rookie of the split, but he was the youngest player in the LCS this year. So, credit to Spica, awesome series. They had a hell of a run. They went losers bracket through all the way to be the LCS champions, 7th time. Congrats to TSM. Congrats to Reggie. Yeah, really, just great LCS action.
So, Dave, first off, second E-Boy. On the show. Gotta throw that out there. But also, I'm going to go a different approach as well for mine. Because you're right. We had great basketball play, Dave. Great play in the NBA. But I have got to give mine to Joel Lloyd of the Seattle Storm. On Friday, Dave, hit a Sue Bird inbound pass to Lloyd in the corner. Lloyd throws up the corner shot. She hits it. The team wins 90-89 over the LA Sparks in their play. She finished with 26 points, went 7 of 19 from the field and 9 of 11 from the line. And like I said, hit the game winner, the little icing on the top, Dave. Notre Dame graduate getting the Misty Miss for today. And Dave, the patrons, if you thought that was unique, Dave, I've got another one for you. I got to pull up the game first so that I have the stat line in front of me. This stat line was from yesterday. And you're probably thinking, come on, give it to someone who deserves it. Well, Dave, this Misty Miss deserved it as well. We've got, and I wrote this name down so I don't screw it up, Arika Agumbawale, also I believe a Notre Dame graduate, scored 39 points in yesterday's game, hit the shot to send it to overtime, and the Dallas Wings beat the DC Mystics 101-94. So we doubling down, Dave, on both the Misty Misses, myself and the patrons. We had 2 Misty Misses hitting big shots to either win games, send them to overtime, and for a complete week, esports wet boy and 2 Misty Misses is how we're going to round it off.
Nice. That's to start the week.
Yeah. Oh, to start the week. I said end the week, didn't I? I meant to start the week. But Dave, let's give some love to the NBA games that went on. There's a lot of people that are probably like, guys, we had some great performances over the weekend. Before we get into the 2 that we're going to talk about, so we're mainly going to talk about the games that went on yesterday, because like we're in a weird situation that like Celtics and Raptors are going on right now. And as we're recording, Boston is leading 37-23 with 7:30 to go in the second. But Dave, before we went into the main two we were going to get into, you wanted to give a little thoughts on this Celtics Raptors and what we saw over the weekend.
I just wanted to shout out the fact that, the Celtics choked. Like, the whole situation, obviously, with OG and Anunoby sinking the three to win the game, changed the series. Like, all of a sudden, the Raptors build up some momentum. They come back. They even out at 2-2 going into today's game. Obviously, today they're a little behind right now, but still, that could have been a series that looked mighty different after 3 games. That could have been, honestly, they could have closed it. It might have been a 4-0 had they closed the door on them in game 3. So it was an interesting turn of events. I mean, we gave the love to Kyle Lowry, gave love to OG and Anunoby. So we'll see what happens tomorrow and go from there.
Yeah, and obviously we'll be talking more about these two teams tomorrow because they're playing right now, and it'll be finished for tomorrow's show. But the first matchup we'll talk about is the other Eastern Conference matchup, and we could have had a 4-0 sweep, and it was a unique game against the Bucks and the Heat where Giannis went down. Giannis wanted to come back, but they said you can't plant on it, you can't jump, you can't come back. It's kind of like it reminded me of like when Klay Thompson got injured in the finals of last year, where it was wanted to come back, even tried to come back, and just was like, we can't have you out there. You can't do anything on it. And then he missed the rest of that series. The Bucks the Bucks have not ruled out Giannis for Game 5. I would be shocked if he played. Like, I wouldn't be shocked because I know he wants to play. I'd be shocked if he was cleared enough. What'd you say?
Did we find out what grade the ankle sprain was? Was it a grade 1, grade 2?
I mean, I can look it up. I haven't seen anything with it.
Now that I didn't hear any specifics yet. But yeah, it was rough because when he went down, I think the second highest score on the Bucks was Kyle Korver with 3.
Yeah.
Like, he was the entire offense, and he was scoring it. Well, he was unstoppable. If Giannis had played that whole game, scores 50. Yeah. Like, he had that killer instinct finally going. That's the guy. Unless Bud only put him 35 minutes, then he wouldn't have had 50. But clearly, like, he was on his way that game. So shout out to Giannis. Hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he gets better soon. If he's healthy enough to play the next game, amazing. If not, Chris Middleton, your heroics are needed yet again. Where the hell have you been? Like,
and that's one of the things I wanted to bring up, just because, like, Jake had mentioned, like, I don't want to hear no more Chris Mid slander. And there's a part of me that's like,
slander him.
There's a part of me
right now.
No, I know you are, but there's a part of me that just wanted to do this and go, woohoo, you showed up one game. We don't slander you because we want to. We slander you because you're inconsistent when your team needs you the most. Whoop-de-doo, you did it once. Let's see it again.
Yeah, and that's entirely the problem. Is like, we've watched this guy for years now, and it's just, he is who he is. He is a great player sometimes, and he is a all right player the rest of the time. And it's just, the problem comes down to, like, where's the offense going? Because I feel like sometimes it's just Bud. If he doesn't want to give the chance to Chris Mid, then he's not going to get the looks. He's not going to get the touches. Like, this playoffs in the first round against Orlando, he had a 14-point game, a 2-point game, a 17-point game, then 21-21 on decent efficiency in those last two. But then this series, obviously, 28, 23, 18, 36, like, shooting splits all have been decent. He just sucked on the 3-pointer in game 2, but I'll be honest, the entire Milwaukee team sucked at that point. So not going to hold it against him. When I look at this team, though, I just go, dude, I've seen the on and off stats. If you get the chance to run this team, you can do really good things. And it's nice to see him pop off against a team that's not Boston. Like, he's always been a terror against Boston for whatever reason. He is a nightmare to them, and that's just how it works out. But this Bucks team needs to fight. They got to fight for their lives, and they probably are going to do it without Giannis. We'll see. Jimmy Butler, honestly, wish we had seen a little bit more out of him close out that game. I'm a little disappointed in the fact that, Miami couldn't do it. Are you surprised that Miami could not win a game where for 3 quarters they didn't have to deal with Giannis?
I was, but then it's like, hearing Jimmy talk after the game, and he even mentioned how he felt the team let up after Giannis was off the floor. And to me, hearing that, that's a bad sign if you're a Miami Heat fan, because like, do I think that this Heat team, with or without Giannis for the Bucks, I think they come out game 5 focused, they get it done. Bucks lose in 5. But for me, the thing I would question going forward for this Heat team now is, are they mentally, I know Jimmy is mentally strong enough, and Jimmy is the leader of this team, but is the rest of this team, because they're a lot younger of guys, do they still have that mental toughness where I wouldn't be, part of me is like, I'm not worried if they go up against the Celtics, because this was something of like an injury happened and then they let up, but still, shouldn't that worry you that like, oh, Giannis isn't out there, I don't need to push as hard? It should be, no, let's still push it. Let's get this done right now, which the team didn't. They should still win the series. The odds are in their favor, Hunger Games style, but yep. I mean,
it was 3-0. They're not going to lose 3-0.
Yeah, going up against Boston, though, Boston's a team that if you're not all mentally there, like the reason why the Raptors won is they showed up mentally and physically and won the game.
No, because Boston slipped for one play.
What? Oh,
Boston mentally slipped for one play.
Good point.
They fucked up their transition coverage, and they went
comes down to
who,
comes
and
down
then
to
they
the
got
mentals.
Late coverage by Jaylen Brown trying to stop that shot, but he was a step off because Jay Tay and Daniel Tice were not all communicating to him on the same page.
Helps my point even more.
I'm just saying, if your communication's not key at the most pivotal point of the game, how far can you get? I look at this Miami team, I'm not concerned. They've got the thing that killed them was a mix of youth and veterans. Like, problem was Goran Dragic had been amazing. Up to this game in the playoffs. Like, he had not missed. And he struggled from the 3-point line. He really struggled out there scoring. So, like, when he doesn't have it, you have to go, okay, next man up. Thankfully, Duncan Robinson still could count on. Tyler Hero, you could still count on somewhat. Like, it's just they need to get those performances. Like I said, it's if one guy doesn't get you, hopefully the next guy down the line will help you on that night. And they just didn't have enough to do it all that night. So disappointed, yes. But am I like saying that we got to watch out down the line? No, I'm not. I don't think that we're going to run into that problem. My thing is, like, I don't understand, like, the Kendrick Nunn now getting playing time after not, like, I still wouldn't give him playing time. That's where I'm at. I think he should not be.
Do you think Coach Spoles goes against that for the next game and says, you know what, wasn't feeling it, and then switches back, or do you still think he gets gameplay?
I think he shouldn't. I think if anybody does, like, Derek Jones is the one who should be getting the playing time, but because they brought in Jay Crowder and Iggy, like, I understand why he's not. So it's like they're stuck in such a weird position where I think he's the better role player, and Kendrick Nunn is at a position where I guess technically they have more need now. Yeah, which is weird, but like technically more need. I would still keep him out of there. I would lean away from Kendrick Nunn, even if Dragic is having a terrible night. I would roll with Hero and Jimmy out there as my guards. I couldn't do it.
Let's switch over. The other game that went on last night that honestly kind of shocked me because I wasn't expecting the game that we saw out of Russell Westbrook in game 2 against the Lakers, where the Lakers win 117-109, and Westbrook had arguably his worst game since his first playoff game, which was August 29th against the OKC Thunder, where his team won 114-80. Westbrook finished with only 10 points, had 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and shot 26% from the field. Dave, the Rockets, I'm going to say, are your team of the playoffs. This is the team that you've been riding them, not just this playoffs, but you've been riding James Harden and this Rockets team for years. If, like, the way that you and I are both Bulls fans, but how I became a, like, bandwagon Warrior fan, you've become a Rockets stan over the years. So I'm going to let you take it with this team. Should the Rockets be worried, and is this going to be a consistent thing that the Rockets have to get over, Westbrook consistently not being the same player every game?
I mean, if you haven't heard the line, if you can't handle me at my worst, Brooke, then you don't deserve me at my best, Brooke. Like, you haven't been watching the show. Like, I'm sorry. No,
but is it a concern?
No.
Okay.
It's who Russell Westbrook is. He's coming off of an injury. Do you expect him to be 110% coming off of an injury?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's an athletic monster. The problem is when he gets hyphy with his shot, you have to be worried. You need to slap him upside the head and be like, your job is not to shoot threes, motherfucker. Your job is to dive at the basket. I don't care who's in front of you. I don't care how hurt you are.
He's like, sorry, man. Thought I was in the wrong system for a second.
He hit
everyone shooting threes.
He hit 1 3, and then it was like, oh, no, he just keeps coming. Why? Why does he keep shooting them?
1 of 7, the only 3 he had all game.
That was the problem. Was once he made 1, he thought he could take more. Like, it's... That was the problem. Like, when the Rockets were winning games, they were doing it because Russell Westbrook was taking 1.7 threes a game. Like, he legitimately, when he plays within himself, is a dominant force on the court instead of the second best player on the Lakers. Like, he needs to watch out for getting carried away in the moment. And I think that's all it was. It's just he felt the game shifting in the third, and he could not figure out the way to lead the guys on the court without James Harden. So he went, I'm James Harden, like, I can shoot threes. No, you can't. No, you can't. That's not why you're here.
Is Sam in Twitch chat anywhere near, like, is this more of a Westbrook thing, or is it also, because Sam brings up playoff Rondo is back? Like, Rondo being back, does that add, obviously it adds good things to the Lakers. You want someone who can play defense, but the way you're talking, it's just like this is a Russell Westbrook mental thing. He doesn't get like that. The Rockets win this game.
Unless, and I didn't hear it, unless Rondo's out there shit-talking Russ into taking those threes, then I don't give the credit to the win for Rondo. Okay. Rondo had, I understand he was the plus-minus winner of the game. Great job for being on the court at the right time in the right place. He didn't play poorly, which I will give him credit for, because, again, another guy coming off of a big injury and someone who has had a shit year, to be honest with you. A lot of the fans out there, like Alex Caruso, should eat all his minutes. Rondo shouldn't even be on the court. He should be a bench player who just wearing a suit on the sideline. So credit to Rondo. He did have a good game. I still believe the hell out of playoff Rondo because it's a scary thing. I will never get caught off guard by it. But no, this is Russ needs to fucking chill. Like, tomorrow he can come back and have a great game, and I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. But then he could also have another dumpster game the day after that, and I wouldn't be surprised. That's just who Russell Westbrook is right now. He is not someone who you can count on. He's someone who is playing in the moment. He's playing with everything he's got, but he's always in the moment.
Here's a little bit of why, if I'm the Rockets, I'm not worried. Is because, so you lost by 8 points. Yep. If Russ has 9 points, they win the game. Like, you look at the rest of the players. PJ Tucker, 18. I'm happy with that. Covington, 17. I'm happy with that because of his defense that he brings to this. You have Gordon with 24, Harden with 27. Perfect.
Well, Harden could have scored more.
He could have scored more, but like the Westbrook at 10, because of everything else, kind of glares out a little bit more. But like you look at the Lakers, AD with 34, LeBron with 28. Then, like, I know McGee got injured, only played 8 minutes, but then you have Danny Green. He
shouldn't have played more than 8 minutes anyway.
Like, Danny Green, 9 points in 31 minutes. KCP, 5 points in 25 minutes. The only other two is Morris and Kuzma, who had 16 and 13. Yep. And even, like, Caruso, 2 points in 25 minutes. It's like, I would be sitting there going, okay, we just get Westbrook in the right mindset, he plays his game, we win that game.
Like, absolutely.
This isn't like the Lakers didn't do anything that surprised us here. LeBron and AD got theirs, and the rest of the team did not match that level.
Exactly. No, exactly. It's just Harden needs to take a step forward. Russ needs to get his shit back together and remember how they won games during the regular season. And then they'll be fine again.
Well, and before I end the show, Dave, I will give an update live in time so people can look back and see what this is like. Remember when I said that the Raptor-Celtic game was like 34-27?
Yep.
It is now 53-27 Celtics. So the Celtics are now dumpstering the Raptors right now. Leading scorer for the Celtics is Jason Tatum with 12. Him and Brown have the same. Leading scorer for the Raptors right now, OG Anunoby and Serge Ibaka with 7 apiece.
That's a problem.
Siakam's got 2.
How's Kyle Lowry doing?
Kyle Lowry has 4 points on 1 of 5.
I saw a cool stat about him the other day. Post their last win in the playoffs. He was leading the playoffs in plus minus.
Really? Right now he's got a negative 25.
Yeah, that will not help him.
Their plus minuses right now, negative 24, negative 26, negative 19, negative 25, negative 21.
We can see some Romeo Langford out there? Is that are we due for some
Not
fourth
yet.
quarter Romeo Langford time?
Not yet. We've seen so the bench players for the Celtics right now, Ojale has gotten 4, Williams has gotten 3, Grant Williams has gotten 3.
Yeah.
The Time Lord has gotten 5 minutes, and then Wanamaker's gotten 14.
All right.
So maybe we do see
Maybe
some fourth
quarter Romeo Langford time. I'd be down.
Do we see an Enes Kanter sighting in this game? Because that would mean the game's out of reach if Kanter's getting in there.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I like Kanter, but he ain't playing unless the Celtics are blowing him out. But that's going to do it for MVP Sports Live today. Let us know what you think down below in the comment section about anything we talked about today. Remember, join the Discord down below in the description or exclamation point Discord in Twitch chat, patreon.com/MVPvids, how you support the channel. And thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. Last but not least, we do this show every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids, but we're also on YouTube at MVP Sports. Want to thank Dave for another great show. We will be back tomorrow for more sports action. Games Live is coming up next here on Twitch. And as always, have a good day, everybody.